What's going on, everybody? This is Tyler from the Vacant Wrestling Podcast. We want to thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode, and we want to apologize for not having an episode last week. I was on a work trip, and the other guys tried to coordinate but couldn't even get it done, and that's totally fine. Life happens, but we're here this week, and we wanted to apologize because we recorded yesterday on Monday before Monday Night Raw, and we talked a lot about the Intercontinental Championship match between Jey Uso and the defending champion Braun Breaker, predicting that Braun Breaker would retain the title. And we had a decent conversation about how Jey wouldn't win the title. And Jey Uso won the Intercontinental title. We're very happy about it. But unfortunately, we're a victim of delayed upload for the pod. So just wanted to let you know that there will be some things that will be inaccurate because we had not seen the Monday Night Raw that had happened on Monday, September 23rd. So thanks so much for tuning in and enjoy the episode.
Oh, y'all thought we were supposed to be surprised?
By what?
Cody and Roman had a banger. Let's just get into it. So, this is VWP. I think we're on episode 18.
Episode 18.
Emil is here. Tyler's here.
Hey.
And Yusuf's here. All of us are here today. It's been like 2 weeks.
Sorry about last week, y'all. I was on a work conference and these schmucks couldn't get it done.
We're here. Everybody's busy, man. Shit, life happens. But speaking of busy, let's talk about the main thing here. Like, let's just get into it. Like,
you know what we're all here for.
This is what we're here for, right? Like, I've tried to avoid a lot of internet talks. I did listen to a little bit of Sam Roberts' takes on this, and then I kind of stopped.
As one does.
This is the big thing, right? This is the big thing in wrestling right now. This Cody Roman promo was the middle of the show point of SmackDown. It was the 9 o'clock hour. It was the top of the hour. I do believe. And
it was somewhere like that. It was like after the first match and like after they got the show going, but like no, they didn't get into much more after that.
This could have been the entire show. So holy cow, right? So first off, awesome production. Like when WWE is on with their production, like on something like this is where this is it. This should be where wrestling is going anyway, especially with Netflix.
Sorry, this was
initial praise.
Yeah, no, this segment was literally, I put in our notes, but this was the best content WWE has created, full stop, since WrestleMania season. And this is the first piece of content that took me really back to that time where I was like, oh, damn, like, we're in a high point right now. Like, this is it. Like, Roman and Cody together. And I've heard some people even say now that with this promo and moving from here, this is kicking off the road to WrestleMania. And I'm like, that's a little much. I'm not going to agree with that. But I was like, okay, if we step up the production to this level moving forward on a consistent basis, I'm down for it.
Yusuf, quick thought, quick praise.
Quick praise. Oh my God. When they said this was going to be cinema, they weren't lying. This was absolute cinema. To the point of setting up the road to WrestleMania, like, I don't know. There's a vibe I just got from it that feels like this is going to inevitably set up Roman Cody 3.
Internet wants a 3P. At this point, we want the
Internet wants 3P. We all want 3P,
at this point,
right?
I want the 3P. I don't want Rock. I don't care about Rock. I give no fucks about Rock.
I know. Tyler's over here just like,
Tyler doesn't like that.
No. Let me cook.
Okay,
I do want it, but I don't want it now. Like, we've had 2 already in a row. I want to breathe a little bit. I want this to breathe a little bit. I want Roman to go on a journey. I want this to be a long journey for Roman to rediscover himself. And if we rush to Cody Roman after Roman inevitably rediscovers himself, gets the Ulafala, is rechristened as the tribal chief, I just think that there's a lot more that they can do with this story that they'd be missing out on. And I think I still want to get Cody and Rock first, and I still want Roman and Rock first. I think I want Roman's journey to culminate with Roman and Rock and him beating Rock non-title at WrestleMania 41.
That's a fair flip, actually. That actually kind of does flip me a little bit. I just couldn't care less about these Rock matches because Rock is losing both of them, right? So
yes, and that's fair.
So for this logic, right? I can't wrap my head around caring enough. Like, I know the Rock's gonna be great. I know it's gonna be great. It's gonna be cinema, whatever, right? But I just can't find I can't find it in me to care. And with Rock not being here like that, and not being here on a Roman schedule versus not being here on a Rock schedule is 2 different things.
I think the thing at the end of the day too is like, sorry Ty, but I think the thing at the end of the day is like, a lot of people, including the 3 of us, have called this Roman Cody feud like our modern day Rock Austin. And Rock Austin, famously enough, had a little bit of downtime between that 3rd match. Right?
They did. Each match was between 2 manias, so it was 15, 17, and 19.
Exactly. So give it time to breathe, and I think this is where we kind of set up everything else because, like Rock Austin back in the day, they had their own separate things going on, which then eventually intertwined into them meeting again at a Mania. I think that's where we're going with with Roman Cody 3. And The Rock is going to get involved, and then let's go.
No, you're right. So let's glaze a little bit more. So let's get really into it. So this really opens up, right? This really starts gorgeous, right? Gorgeous view of Atlanta. Roman walks in with the fucking
a fleet of Escalades.
A fleet of Escalades. What's the Drake lyric? Damn, I'm missing it right now. It was
damn, he was. I bet he was practicing this in the mirror before the show, and now he forgot.
I'll look up that lyric in a second. But rolling in with the Suburbans just 7 cars deep, and
he's still trying to find it.
I am trying to find it. Cody coming in by himself. Somebody mentioned that Cody was driving a white Mustang, which is literally Cody coming in on his white horse because he's supposed to be the hero. He doesn't look very much like a hero in this.
I was gonna say, yeah, like he was very much.
He's not the hero here. This is. So wait, because I want to get this point off.
Okay, valid.
Because I know what you're gonna say, right? Like that's the point, right? Roman brings out that extra fire out of Cody, right? That's your point, right? That's your point.
I was gonna say, like, if you looked at this in a vacuum, you would say, yeah, Cody's kind of being a dick. But if you've been watching the product for the past 4 years and seen the chaos and seen the disruption that Roman has brought to the wrestling industry over the 4 years of him being as champion, the way that they painted him as this tyrant as champion, and Cody coming in to save the company. For more or less, you might disagree with that kind of notion, but that is kind of how Cody has taken this to be. And so for Cody to act this way now, it feels to me, as someone who is biased and a big Cody fan and at times fell off of the Roman title reign, was like, yeah, like Roman absolutely did dig himself this hole that he's currently in, and Cody's just here to be like, yeah, I fucking told you you'd be here. I told you that I would. And Cody literally said himself, I wrote all these quotes so I could quote them here. He literally was like, you're standing exactly like I said you would right in this moment when going into, I believe it was 39, but he said it again going into 40, a chief without a tribe. And this was glorious. That was perfect. I thought it pulled everything it needed to pull from the past. And so Cody did kind of look like a dick a little, but it also is like, and we were kind of watching together, you and I, and I was like, listen, this isn't Cody going full heel. This is Cody like dipping into this side that you and other Cody haters want to see as a babyface Cody, a Cody with a spine, a Cody with a personality, a Cody that can get dark and tap into that side, but not go full heel. So I'm with you. Like I'm definitely with you. I know when you say go heel, it's not like full, like kick you in the balls heel, but he definitely can tap into that.
He's not Cody Lander.
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
I think the thing is with Cody, yeah, exactly. You can start to see it. We kind of saw a glimpse of that. Like I know people joked about when he was cutting promos on The Rock when Black Suit Cody shows up. That's the closest thing we have to like old school like Bullet Club kind of Cody, where he's just cutting promos on everyone left, right, and center. It's fun to get a glimpse of Cody whenever he does that because we start to understand he is the top babyface in the company. We're aware of this, yes. However, when push comes to shove, he will shove.
Roman's that push too.
Exactly, and Roman is the perfect push. Right.
They're also definitely manufacturing this to be in this kind of situation where like these are the antithesis of one another. They are the foils that they are building for one another, right? Like they are going to tap into this multiple times throughout the two of these guys' career, however long they're going to be here. Yeah,
there's an interesting thing to think about with the way they're setting all of this up for their tag match, which we'll probably go into later. But I really want to revisit the lead into the tag match with Cena and The Rock when they took on the Awesome Truth in Survivor Series, whatever year that was, 2011, I think it was, 2010, 2011, right? I kind of want to rewatch that at some point. Maybe we can do that later, but just to see the parallels of it, because if I remember correctly with The Rock and Cena, it's the whole idea of can they overcome their differences? Can they set aside their differences with each other to get together for one tag match, call it a day, and then go about their business? Because that, of course, was part of the eventual Cena-Rock feud, right? So with Cody and Roman, the way they had this all set up, it's really pushing the boundaries of can they overcome, not really their hatred for each other, but it's can they overcome just all the shit they've put each other through over the last 2 years. Right? So it's really starting to turn a lot of gears, and yeah.
I don't see that as much, only because these are like the stars of, this is like the guys right now, as opposed to Rock, who's kind of there, was kind of like that guy who was meant to pass it to Cena.
True, at that point he was the star of yesteryear. Yeah, and Cena was the star of that moment.
And did even unintentionally, and then of course they did it intentionally with the bullshit handshake. Whatever, blah 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 blah.
I do think there is some merit to that point, though. Like, I didn't even think about the Awesome Truth Cena Rock match, but like, yeah, I could definitely see that, especially if the direction they choose to go to is Cody Roman 3 at 41.
These two bring out the absolute best in each other. These two bring out the absolute best in their promos, in their facials, in their movement, in their breathing, like all of it. Like, they bring out the best in the production team. They bring out the best in the writing. They bring out the best in Paul Heyman, who apparently executive produced this, allegedly. I don't know if that's confirmed nor denied.
That was I believe PW Insider. So it is a fairly reputable source, but yeah, I don't think there's official confirmation. But
yeah, that Heyman being, I wouldn't be surprised if Heyman was involved in this at all.
Someone who is deeply connected to this has to have had an integral role in it. Right, like you would
somebody
think.
Somebody in the story. Like, I bet Roman and Cody were definitely involved in this. I would argue Heyman might have been involved, and of course it was probably Triple H. Right, like those are probably the four big brainchild behind those. But man, like there's so many quotables here. Right, the quotes that they got here were the football line about when they were giving each other the history lesson, which a lot of people forgot about Roman's connection to Atlanta. There's some Sam Roberts stuff that is slipping in here right now. For me, they forgot about the Roman connection to Georgia Tech, which is, of course, in Atlanta, right down the street from State Farm or the Omni, when Cody giving his history lesson, where he's like, do you know what's outside of this stadium? Do you know that the bar right down the street? Do you know the performance hall right down the way? Do you know what's right down there at the shopping center? Like that's what Cody is. Cody's telling me, hey, you were here for a couple years, you own the city, but this is still my fucking home.
You played football here, and then you returned to the beach.
Just that is a bar. I love then Roman talking about the very specific line. Of course, the whole message of the promo was Roman saying he doesn't have anything to lose. But I really love the specificity of the words saying there's nothing heavy around my neck anymore. I really loved that, talking about not only the Ulufala but the championship. Right, really great line. The Chief Without a Tribe line was really good, but Cody really digging into the point of, like, who are you now? You're not the main event. You're not the champion. You're not the tribal chief. You don't have a bloodline. You're not this WrestleMania main eventer. You're just the man who used to be Roman Reigns, which is a bar and a half. And then, of course, Roman... There's something really interesting, and I want y'all thoughts on it, because I thought about this when Roman was like, what do you want? And Cody says, I want your word that you have my back. And Roman answered that really quickly, which makes me think, you're asking the wrong questions, bro. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but that was an interesting thought I had, where I was like, you're asking the wrong thing of him.
I would say at this point it's more that, like, they have a mutual respect for one another now that Cody was the one to take Roman down after Roman was the one that had this empire built up for so long,
I'm gonna maybe stretch a bit here, but I've thought about this more now that you've mentioned it. Cody asking Roman, do you have my back? And Roman immediately agreeing, or, immediately responding how he does, right? It harkens to possibly two things. Number one is that the whole, like, I have respect for you now because you're the only guy that's actually beaten me. Right, I get, like, there is that. The other thing is, let's not forget, Roman's got a very bad history with people betraying him.
That's true. That's his Achilles heel. That's the Achilles heel.
Story.
It's his Achilles heel, right? That's his whole. Exactly. It's how he lost the belt, right? He was so fucking transfixed with Seth betraying him that he sacrificed his own title just to get back at Seth for betraying him 10 years prior. Now, with the way he responded, I'm starting to think, what if the shoe's on the other foot?
Only reason I don't see that,
but yeah, go,
is because if Roman's going to be dastardly, he's going to be dastardly to your face. That's what that's always been the thing about Roman. Roman, kind of in the vein that I was putting Damian Priest in, right? Like Damian Priest and Roman kind of have this similar weird, kind of real, kind of not. Before Damian went totally face, honorable quality about them. Like Roman will tell you the things. Roman will even tell you you're good.
Right.
You're just not great. And that, that's where like the little heel thing comes in, right? But until Roman has to, he's fairly honorable. Which also kind of makes him an interesting character and has always been really interesting to me because I'm like, damn, you don't have to do that. You don't have to tell me he's good. But you're doing it anyway. Right. You could just smack him in the face or hit him from behind, but you don't.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking like you're asking the wrong questions here.
Yeah, just a bit. That does bring a very good point of like with all of anyone Roman's ever been involved in or with, he's never been the one to turn his back on them. Everyone's turned their back on him at some point. Seth, Sammy, Jey Uso, you get the idea, right? So yeah, I get that there. So maybe not that, but it still though, with the way Roman's kind of hinting like you're asking the wrong questions. It sort of now sticks to Roman's got other intentions. He's not saying them yet, but they've already been made kind of clear, I think, right? Like, he wants to get this bloodline shit over with. He wants his family back. He just wants things fixed. And then that belt on Cody's shoulder.
Well, he did explicitly say once all that's over,
exactly,
like, I'm coming for that title.
Right.
Like, he said, I'm coming for what's mine.
Yeah.
And then of course, Cody with the response and, as Roman's walking off, he cuts him off, and that stare down, that's the one. I mean, they're staring at each other the whole time, right?
Not only the stare down, it's when Roman turns to leave and Cody steps in front of him.
And that's
exchange.
That's
the
stare
exchange.
Down. That's the one.
Yep.
So Cody turns and steps in front of Roman, and Roman's like, "You're in my way," and Cody backs away to kind of give him the room to go. Yeah, I checked you. Now you're good. You can go now. And then Roman goes, "You're in my way in life," and I'm like, "Damn."
So
damn. I'm like, it's a little. I'm like, the line is a little cheesy, but I'm like, also at the same time, like,
people don't like that bar.
I like that bar.
I hate that. And
here's where I like it, right? Because this is that where you see at those very top, right? You see those really fucking crazy people who are so locked in, and so obsessed over being number one at what they do, right? Because I think if Cody was in that position, he would say the exact same thing, right? It's the same thing that Shawn Michaels said when Taker got in his way, right? Like, Taker was the one stopping him from
same way Rock and Austin said to
same
one
way,
another too.
Yep.
Same thing with Rock and Cena. Cena said the same thing. You're in my way in life. You sent my life into a tailspin because I was so focused on you, right? So, and it's the same. I think that's the same thing here, and I love that. I love when professional wrestling kind of locks into that weird sports mentality where they're like, I can't do anything in my life until I get you. So big ups to that. Now that we've gotten all the glazing out the way, let's talk about a couple things. One of these are obvious, one of them isn't.
I think I got the obvious one, potentially.
What do you think the obvious one is?
So, Cody, and this might even be a completely new point, so I'll just fully map it out, right? So, Cody goes to Roman and is like, you don't have your bloodline anymore, like, you're not the champion anymore, you're not the tribal chief anymore, thereby acknowledging Solo as the tribal chief. Whereas 2 weeks prior, Cody's like, you're not a tribal chief, you're a fake tribal chief. So it's like, all right, Cody, was that deliberate? I think it was. I think it could have been deliberate, but
Cody
it also could have been something else. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Also, what was the point of the match last week?
I think it was an ego thing.
The whole steel cage part, probably. I mean, that yes. Like, if you really need to go there,
I think it was more of an ego thing for Cody, trying to protect his ego and also keep Roman in check. I think Cody does acknowledge that Roman has been the tribal chief throughout this whole thing. I think he only said that because he knows that he needs to keep Roman, just beneath him, and that was the way to humble him.
I don't like it because that also kind of buries the point of last week, right? Like last week in that cage match, right? That was the whole point, right? He's like, I'll acknowledge you as a chief. Last I checked, Cody won that match. I don't know if something changed in the last six days, But last I checked, he won that match. So
by pinfall too. It's not like he was like the hokey, like, oh, he climbed over the cage and hit the floor. Like,
so make up your mind, Cody. Make up your mind. Is he the chief or not? Like,
I think it was that.
We can call it mind games. Yeah.
I want to say it was that. Maybe that's just me trying to buy into it. But like, I could see that also being a thing because, like you just said, these are people locked in at the very top of the industry, and they will do anything to stay there. And if Cody has to go back on what he says in order to stay there, this title reign has been about Cody learning what it takes to be a champion because he's never been a world champion at this caliber before. So I think that very well could be it. But I also think it could just be a slip up on production.
Heel.
Tweener.
Heel. We're getting there.
Codelander.
Oh, we're getting
Yusuf, thoughts on that? Did we make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. I think part of it is the ego check. I think the other part is Cody... How do I put this lightly with Cody's character? As much as he is like the very like blue collar, serious, white nosed babyface that he is with the title and like the working man's champ and all that shit. I've noticed with Cody's promos and with the way he says certain things, when he wants to fuck with someone, he'll do it in like a very subtle way. So him, mentioning that, like implying essentially that Roman's not the tribal chief anymore. Yeah, I know with the whole cage last week and whatnot, right? I think part of it is Cody's way of just trying to get in Roman's head of like, hey, just so we're clear, we might be on the same page right now, but I know in the back of your mind, you're not, and in the back of my mind, I'm not. Just saying, right? It's a mind game kind of thing, which probably won't get played into later, but maybe it might not. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's more a matter right now with just sort of getting into Roman's head of being like, hey, come down to earth for 1 minute. Okay, we got to do this. You've got some shit to settle with these guys. I've got some shit to settle with these guys. Let's just get this over with, and then we can worry about killing each other. Cool.
All right, here's my other point.
Okay.
As fire as this was, minus that little tribal chief thing that you could call mind games, as fire as this was, and as great as this was, and as invested as I am, and as much as I love this kind of shit, let's really talk about it. Let's really get into it. Let's start hating a little bit. This really shouldn't have even happened. We shouldn't even be here. We shouldn't even be here right now.
You don't think so?
Let's be for real. This shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here.
I think
we don't have a reason to be here.
Now we do.
Cody said, I'm done.
Now we do.
Why are we here?
We are here because there's nobody else that will help Roman.
I don't want to hear that shit.
And also the fact that Cody is the only other person that the Bloodline has truly antagonized from start to finish. You could argue Randy and KO, but I wouldn't even argue as much as the fact that they've gone after Cody. Why? Because Cody is the one thing stopping Solo from achieving the one goal that he has, being Roman Reigns. That's really it.
Point. You know what? That's a good point, actually.
I'm cooking today, bro. What can I say?
I mean, you're right, but
COVID brain.
This man muted himself.
This man muted mid-rant. I know. Yeah, he's so in it right now. He's so locked in. He's still locked in. He's still muted, and I don't know if he knows it.
Fucking Christ. Okay, no, you're right. I was trying to cover myself because the fucking thing.
I'm so glad I was thinking about posting this as a standalone YouTube video.
Please.
That was a great. That's
a great clip.
That's great. That's a clip right there. No, but still, like, for real though, like I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't like none of that. No, if you say you're done, you're done. You're out, right? No, okay, I get it. Like, it's the same thing in real life, right? We're not always out when we say we're out. I get it, but
yeah.
I think Cody thought he would have been out. I think Cody thought that was it, right? But then at that point, there was nothing else left for
earlier
for Roman
in the day. He said we were out, and they won the segment.
What do you wait? No, because he won. He beat. I guess it was later in the night. All right,
right?
It was
the
later
steel
in the
cage,
night.
And then Roman came out and did the save. And then
but he didn't know that
Cody
was going to happen, though. He didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh my god!
I'm just trying to buy into it a little more. I'm just trying to.
Oh, I'm in. I'm sold. Yeah. Like, that segment sold me.
I'm not saying you are not. I'm just giving you the counterpoint. From the perspective of the less skeptic person.
But
which is fair.
Realistically,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Be here.
I agree. I think there's two reasons, and both of them are not kayfabe. One. Who the fuck does Cody face for the title next? I'll wait. Two, money.
Where's The Rock when we need him?
I mean,
we might actually need this.
Wait,
now
you want Rock to be here?
We might have needed this Rock match to happen.
Low-key, Cody Rock could have been at Bad Blood, and I would have been totally fine with it.
Cody
it would have made perfect sense.
Could happen in Survivor Series, so we can get him the fuck out. So,
I would like that.
Okay, so let's keep pushing a little bit with this Bloodline thing because there's a couple other interesting points that come out of this, right?
Relatively connected, yeah.
Yeah,
that are relatively connected. So let's keep going, right? Because I mean, once this part's over, I can give up my hosting reins. I talk about the Bloodline is my thing, right? And so let's talk about this. So what happens if they win?
If the Bloodline
as in
win?
Cody and Roman, or the Bloodline?
Cody and Roman.
Oh, they're not. No, right? I'm just kidding. I want them to.
Hold on.
So we're booking ourselves into a corner here.
I don't actually think that they're going to lose.
So Bad Blood's about 10 days out right now, right? Or 15 days out, right?
Let's talk. Week, isn't it? Or 2 weeks from now.
It's 2 weeks from
a week 2 weeks from Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yes.
So we have
anyway.
So they're obviously going to win. They're obviously going to win this tag.
Are they though?
Yes.
So here's the thing though. We can't, because let me get the right. We can't bury the Bloodline going in the solo Bloodline going into War Games, right? The whole goal is to make them look strong. You can't. You need them to be somewhat useful going into blood and guts. But the other one,
Bad Blood,
with less violence.
No.
Going into War Games.
War Games. Right. You need them to go into War Games and kind of look kind of okay, right? They're already not okay. There's already issues. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares. So they already have to look kind of decent going into that, right? I think that's very fair of me. We can't have Roman lose because we just can't. We can't have Cody lose because he's the champ.
Sorry, Solo.
Solo. We can't pin Solo again because Solo's eating like 4 pins. Like we
can have Solo. We can have Solo eat
we
the
can't.
pin. We can't have Jacob eat the pin.
Oh.
It's got to be Solo.
We're fucked.
No. Roman's going to get his pin
we're
on Solo.
No contest.
No, Roman's going to get it. Cody and Roman are absolutely winning at Bad Blood. However, hear me out. Don't be crazy. I think War Games, we get one of two things. We get either a reveal of Hikuleo, and I know the report just came out literally today about NXT. I don't care about it. There's that, or...
Wait. Fill in for the rest of the class.
Oh, we talked about it today, but you're at work.
It's been announced that he's on the NXT roster. He's been added.
Internally,
yeah. So expect him to show up in the next couple weeks. Nope. He's way too green. He's not ready for main.
So it's either Hikuleo, or I think Rock could be revealed as the person behind all of this. And I think New Bloodline is going to be Old Bloodline. Because what happens? Because to bring up the same point you bring up, Emil, about Bad Blood. If Cody or Roman or whoever the faces are at War Games win that match, then what does the Bloodline do? The New Bloodline. Nothing. They don't do anything, right? You got to have the New Bloodline win the match with everybody involved, the biggest bells and whistles on the biggest stage that counts the most. That's why they're doing this.
So okay.
Jacob Fatu is going to do something absolutely crazy and win for the New Bloodline.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't really care. Here's what I do care about. Which version of this Bloodline? What version of Old Bloodline are we doing? The rumor.
What do you want it to? What are you asking?
We've been talking for months, right? Okay. We've been talking for months about bringing the twins and Sammy, right? Should have been the goal. Sammy and Jay have a match for something somewhat soon.
No, Jay has an Intercontinental title match with Braun Breaker.
Jay has an IC title match.
And Sammy's going after Gunther in the world
title
right now.
Sammy's busy with the world title.
Neither of which are happening at Bad Blood.
Yeah.
And so Gunther, we'll talk about it more. Well, I guess we could briefly talk about it now and count as talking about it. I'll just bring it up.
Didn't they say something about winning tag titles?
They did, and then they went and went a different way. So what they're doing now is Jay won because Bronson got COVID, so he couldn't wrestle in that Fatal 4-Way for the IC title #1 contendership, which I think was where they were going. They had to pivot. Jay won that match. He's got the match with Braun Breaker. We'll talk about their awesome promo in a little while. Now, to cover this segment so we don't have to talk about it later, Sammy's been trying to goad Gunther into a world title match, and Gunther's been saying no. So that's basically what's been happening. And Sammy's now going for this whole, Ludwig Kaiser, you're, he's kind of doing the same thing with him as he was with Alpha Academy and Otis, which is why are you doing this? There's no reason to try and break up Ludwig and Gunther. This is dumb. And they shouldn't be talking about that. They should be focusing on Sammy being the one guy to ever beat Gunther by a pinfall in the ring. But anyway, that being said, let's bring it back to this conversation. Are you asking what I want to see for this War Games, or are you asking what we think they're going to do? Because those are two different answers for me.
I mean, honestly, neither are solvent.
I mean, that. So let me just give you let me just give you both then. So what I want is, yes, what you said. Roman, Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy. That's what I want. Full stop. What I think they're going to give us is something infinitely more mid. Cody, Roman, KO, Randy.
So now this opens the bigger conversation of this if that's where we're going, that will be the worst booking decision Triple H has made this entire time.
Well, however, also, I will say there is a potential we get a little blend of things, which could be, even if we do get the scenario we would want, given what's been going on in the personal lives of some of these guys involved, the face team could be Sammy, Jay, Roman, and Cody. Because if you saw recently, Rikishi tweeted for prayers for Jimmy. So it sounds to me, whatever's going on with Jimmy Uso, I don't think he'll be back in time for November, whatever that may be. We wish him well. We hope he's all right, obviously, like without question. But I don't see Jimmy being back for that.
Because do we have enough time to pivot still on this Raw side? Yes, we do. It's mid-September.
We do.
It's mid-September. We've got about 2 months.
Third of September.
They're going to do Sammy Gunther either at Crown Jewel or sometime on Raw, to be honest.
Oh, shit. That's a thing, right.
Crown Jewel is the thing. It's first week of November.
Okay.
First week. And then War Games is the last week of November.
War Games at the end of the month.
I believe 2025 might be the last year of the agreement, but that doesn't guarantee that they won't renew that agreement.
They extended the agreement already, didn't they?
They might have. They probably did.
Renewed it.
There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money.
Yeah, I thought they already renewed it.
Not one of Triple H's better decisions. Well, that's not Triple H's decision. So
yeah, that's a company thing.
That's a Nick Khan thing.
Here, fuck. I think we all want we want the Samoans and the Tongans involved, right? Of course we do. Yes, Tyler.
The Saudi agreement will be up in 2027.
Oh my fucking
They have
God.
extended the partnership. Plus, they also, I forgot that they built a WWE World facility, kind of the WWE store was in New York City, and it's kind of like a museum gift shop type store thing in Saudi Arabia. So,
they really built one in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
where in Riyadh?
Forgot about that as well. Yep, not too far from the arena.
Oh, I figure.
I believe it was Riyadh. There's Riyadh and Jeddah, right? The two major cities.
Riyadh is probably where it is. Because Jeddah, I don't think they'd have.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Upsetting.
Okay. A little. Yeah. Back to this bloodline thing. The situation now becomes okay, if it's somehow all the Usos are involved, if Jimmy's okay, again, we don't know what's going on, but I hope the dude's okay, then cool. We've got time to set this up, right? We got the Roman Apology Tour there. That's the Roman Apology Tour we want. However, if it's the other thing of the Roman Apology Tour towards, fucking KO, they're laughing in the background. Why? Of course the Roman
I'm just thinking about Roman outside Cody's window with the boombox playing music.
Yeah, it's basically the music video for You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift.
Knocking on Paul Heyman's door with a bouquet of roses.
Yeah, exactly. My thing is there's so many intertwining things that they would have to get right to make either of those work. The bloodline one works a little better because it's, look, we were family, I know, yada yada yada. There's substance to it that makes the most sense. Because no member of the bloodline that has been on TV since Roman lost his title has really said anything about Roman. Right? They've kind of just gone their own way and everyone's doing whatever, right? On the other potential argument for this with, involving if it's KO and Randy and Cody and Roman, how the fuck do you get KO to agree to that in story? Because that's going to be a wild, that, trying to make that work without just being the cop-out of Kevin Owens going, fine.
It's will they, won't they?
Pain in the ass.
On an even grander scale. We're getting can they coexist with Cody, Roman individually, the two of them? If we had Randy and KO in there, it's just a big clusterfuck of Cody trying to be the mediator between Randy and KO and Roman. And I think one of them will, if it happens, I could see. So here's the thing. Here's why I think the bloodline could win at War Games. Because one of them, KO or Randy, will say, fuck all of this. Why are we doing this? And turn on the faces, allowing Jacob Fatu to get the win. And then we get Cody versus whoever it is that turns on the faces.
Probably Randy.
That's so yawn, and it's definitely KO. So to continue, right? Just like Bloodline, this is going to be a long segment. To kind of continue all of this interweaving bullshit that's going on, SmackDown closes, or very close to closes, with a really interesting spot of KO holding the chair, that Cody comes in for the save, and from whatever schmucks were attacking, I think Bloodline. And Cody comes in, and then he saves him, and then Kevin Owens looks damn ready to hit him. Looks damn ready.
Again, not the first time.
Looks not damn the first ready. Time.
He almost hit him with the title belt going into Bash in Berlin as well.
Which, again, kind of yawn.
Not
It's the least interesting option.
This is going to kick Kevin Owens off into a heel run that culminates with Kevin Owens taking the U.S. title off of LA Knight. I've said it since the beginning, and I'll continue to say it.
Where did we?
What? No. Yep. So this is. Yep. You're right. He's got it kind of right. We're gonna do all of this just to give KO a U.S. title belt, which means nothing to me, and nothing to him, and nothing to the story, and it's just a way to get him away from all of this bullshit.
At this point,
that's all this is.
First off, thank you. It's rare that you concede, so thank you. But second off, they could go with the obvious options of, Carmelo or Andrade to take the title off of LA Knight. But if you put the title on one of them, then the other guy is kind of like chopped liver, right? And the point of this is to build both of them. So how do you do that? Fuck both of them. Give it to a different guy. So there you go.
I hate that logic. Because it's
kind of true. It's kind of Triple H logic.
History, yeah.
Also, I'll take a heel KO and a face LA Knight any day of the week doing promos together. That's always fun. That'll be fun. I just don't. My thing is I kind of just want Kevin Owens to stay where he's at, but just start doing it to faces. If we have to turn him, right? If we have to turn him. I kind of just keep him where he is and just do it to faces, right? Instead of doing it to heels.
It would work.
Because then I don't really have to boo him. He's kind of doing the same thing, but he's away from, again, all of the bullshit. Because that's really where he's at right now. He's just kind of involved in bullshit.
Yes.
As he's been involved in bullshit since about 2020.
Speaking of bullshit, when we watched the show together, we both said it, but the whole thing where initially it was KO and DIY against the Bloodline, and then they attacked DIY, and earlier in the night, after the Roman Cody segment,
this is a good segue.
Yes, it is. So after the Cody Roman segment, now that you just pointed it out, it's not as good, but it's okay. But after the Cody Roman segment, they cut to KO watching it on a monitor backstage, and Byron's pestering this man every 5 minutes, like, "Do you have thoughts on this? Do you have thoughts on this?" And KO's like, "No." And eventually KO's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna give it to you. I'm just gonna go out to the ring and talk about it." So he goes to talk. Before he says a thing, the Bloodline come out. And then, they go to attack KO, DIY come out and make the save. But then, we have this main event match later in the night in the main event. KO comes out, I keep butchering it, but
wait,
DIY go to come out. Okay.
Hold up. Because they did all this first part of the segment, and we just didn't have the match. Like, everybody wasn't there in the ring gear ready. All you had to do was call a ref. You didn't have to send all 6 of them back. Why didn't this?
But it has to be the main event because money.
It didn't. It was 9:25.
No, but the kayfabe logic, if you're Nick Aldis and you have that match booked for your main event, that's the big match, right? So
if you're Nick Aldis and you're such a good fucking GM, you would have had the main event already.
You would have stopped KO from going out there earlier, is what you would have done.
Fucking bum.
He's still better than Adam Pearce, though.
Hey, look, Adam Pearce is great.
Continue.
Yeah, Aaron.
Okay, so. So DIY go to make they're logically the next people to come out, but they don't show up. Where are they? They cut backstage. They're getting attacked by the Bloodline, and then the Bloodline come out. They go to attack KO. The Street Profits come out, make the save. I know, but I remember we were watching and we were like, "Why the fuck is this all happening? This is not necessary." They could have just booked Profits and KO against Bloodline. However, I will admit, this was the Street Profits' return after the Bloodline took them out a couple weeks ago. Not that it really matters all that much. They probably could have just said, the Street Profits return on SmackDown next week to team with Kevin Owens, and it would have been just as fine. It would have been just as cool, but they had to go with a clusterfuck.
Anyone getting triple threat vibes?
Triple threat how?
Street Profits, DIY, Bloodline.
Oh,
anyone getting Team 3D, E and C, and Hardy Boys vibes? No, just me.
They did already do all that. They did a triple threat already.
Ugh, TLC 3.
Fuck it. Honestly, I'm down.
I just watched the WrestleMania 17 video. That's why that pairing is so fresh.
As long as they have a spot where Tonga Loa goes to climb up and he tries to reach for the titles and they keep swinging and he can't reach it, or like he sets up a ladder off center, climbs up and he's like,
oh
and he just can't do it. That's such a Tonga Loa thing. He needs to.
I totally forgot about the other fucking disaster part of this whole clusterfuck. Why did we give Tama Tonga a mic?
Yeah.
Why did we give him a mic?
Hear me out.
Stop, because I want to hear from the New Japan guy for a second. What are they doing? What are we doing?
Hold on.
Is this for real?
Hold on. You know what? I brought this for a reason, and that reason was
Are you burning Bullet Club merch?
No.
Are you burning it?
But I brought my OG Bullet Club hoodie. I was going to put
get
it on
another one so you can burn it? Because this is ridiculous.
If you don't get a Bullet Club flag to put up behind your setup, I will stage a mutiny.
You know I own one, right? It's in the studio. It's in the other room. I just haven't set it up yet. I have it here. I just haven't set it up yet. It's also huge. Like I don't know where. Anyway, okay. Let me get into this. It was one of you two or someone. It might have been Owen. I can't fucking remember who. But someone's like, "Oh, Tama cut a promo on SmackDown." I go, "Oh, this should be good," because I saw on Twitter they're like, "Man, I miss when Tama Tonga cut promos in New Japan." And I go, "Oh, is this? Hopefully, this is akin to that, right?" And then I watched 10 seconds of it, and all I saw was this man. I will reenact this for you. Get a live fucking use of reenactment. I see this man just hunched.
Clip it.
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Do that again.
What, the hunched over?
We need the clip.
Like,
yeah.
What the?
Here's the thing. I think it was done to put over like the unhingedness of the new bloodline, but like in reality, it was just like I got it the first 5 times you did it, dude.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Also with the hierarchy of the bloodline. Think about it. He's been the right-hand man when Solo's not there.
Good.
Who's in charge?
Speak like a right-hand man.
Well, he did say I am the right hand.
He did speak when he wasn't. When he wasn't doing this
dumb, wild Thornberry's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
did you make it about 2 minutes into the promo where he starts stuttering?
That would be I gave up like problem. 50 seconds in.
Big problem.
When Tama was...
Who's the wrestler that stuttered? He turned into fucking... Come on. Come on, y'all. Where's y'all ruthless aggression? Somebody stuttered. Come on, work with me.
Oh,
who started? Somebody had to stutter.
Was it Snitsky?
Might have been. No.
Come on, work
with
me.
Stutter.
Somebody had to stutter.
Hold up.
Yeah, look it up. I just want to say this. When Tama was the right-hand man of the Bullet Club, this dude's promos were, like, really good. Like, he could talk shit about anyone. Oh my god, was it actually Snitsky?
No, it's even better.
Please point me in the right direction.
It was Matt fucking Morgan.
Thank you. Fucking A. The blueprint.
The blueprint.
The blueprint.
Hey, he got a Mania match with Taker out of it.
No, he did not.
No, he didn't. That was not him.
That was Nathan Jones.
It was Nathan Jones, yeah.
That was other big jacked bald guy.
Yeah, that wasn't Matt Morgan. Ugh. Okay, so Tama as a right-hand man character has gone on for years, right? We saw this when he was in Bullet Club, during the AJ era, during the late stages of the Finn Balor or Prince Devitt era, and then during the Kenny Omega era, right? We've seen him cut promos on Kenny when the Elite, separated themselves from Bullet Club. This man can cut some great promos. What the fuck are you having him do here? I don't get it. It's been weeks of this, and I've said this numerous times on different episodes of this podcast. What the fuck are we doing with Tama?
And the other one.
And the other one.
You keep your mouth shut when it comes to Tonga Loa.
He almost said the wrong name.
You were just like, oh, that's not it.
Who knows? Maybe it was a botch because I'm in solidarity with Tonga Loa.
So, point me in the correct direction for these promos, because right now I'm lost on this guy.
You take the mic away from Tama Tonga and you give it to Tonga Loa, and you give Tonga Loa the every championship in the world.
Is there a Paul Heyman who's not a Paul Heyman that we can put with these guys? Like, I don't want to hear none of them talk. I don't want to hear Solo talk. I certainly don't want to hear the Tongans talk. I kind of want to hear Jacob Fatu talk, but it's just too much.
I love you, Solo. I acknowledge you, my tribal chief.
It's just a
That's
lot.
what he sounds like.
I don't need that the whole time. So like, do we have a Paul Heyman that we can put here?
God.
Do we have a fake wise man that we can put here? Like who's
No, nobody that fits.
Is
I
Paul
mean,
Ellering busy? Yes, he is.
yeah.
Yes, he
The
is.
only one I would say
Is there
would
another
be,
Paul?
I mean, I could argue William Regal, but that just wouldn't fit.
He's not a Paul.
That would be fantastic.
That would be great.
Regal as a manager would be phenomenal.
Because I need him right now specifically because he's gonna somebody has to throw down this War Games challenge, right?
Yeah.
So we actually need him.
Oh, that's the thing too, because Adam Pearce has been getting good at saying War Games too, but
we
haven't heard Nick Aldis say War Games that way.
Ain't nobody want to hear anyone, and nobody wants to hear that shit. Like bring out William Regal.
I mean, he's British, so we could still get the same cadence, you know.
Just no. Let William Regal get his pop.
It's not the same intensity as Regal. It wouldn't be the same intensity.
Okay, but like hypothetically,
okay.
you could bring Rock in to be the manager, but then it would be like the Rock would be like making them all look bad, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No. We need to build these people. We can't just do this all for nothing. Sorry.
Well,
I mean, the whole point is for The Rock, right?
Yeah, potentially.
Like
Possibly.
really, like
Yeah,
the whole point is
possibly.
Rock. I don't really think there's a reveal here. I do think you're overshooting with that one. I don't
I
think
might
there's a
be.
reveal at all.
He's trying to
I
go.
definitely
He's trying to
might
go
be.
like corporate Ministry of Darkness. Fucking, it was me, Austin.
I just don't know how else. I just don't know how else Rock gets involved in the story without all of this getting it, without the bloodline and stuff.
So,
you know?
Because I don't think Rock is involved like that. I think what Rock is like this mythical. Like think of it like Pokemon, right? You have the big three or whatever, and then there's like this mythical fourth, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of where Rock falls,
Okay,
right?
I'm following. Yeah.
I suppose.
Does that kind of work?
I suppose.
I get what you're.
So there's like
I was
Kyogre,
gonna-
Groudon, and Rayquaza. Rock is Jirachi.
Right.
Okay.
Or like they're like the Johto
shouldn't
region.
exist.
Like they're the dogs.
The
Like they're Suicune, Entei, and Raikou, but they serve a greater being, that being Ho-Oh, and Rock is Ho-Oh.
Exactly.
I don't know, man.
There
I
we
just feel
go.
like I just feel like if Rock comes in after all this bloodline stuff is over, we're just gonna forget about all the bloodline stuff that Solo and has laid out.
That's very okay.
I don't want that though.
That's
We've
very
spent this
okay.
whole
We
year
don't
building
need-
it. I think we should.
I don't need a 10-year dynasty of a story. I'm cool. 5 is enough for me. I'm cool.
I respect that. I definitely respect that point.
And I love
Definitely
the
respect that
bloodline.
point.
I like, you know me. Like I've been defending Roman for 10 years. I'm cool. That's enough. But there was a point here that I was gonna make because of Rock. We brought up Rock. Oh, no matter which version of old bloodline versus new bloodline it is, right? If Rock's the goal, have Rock do the CM Punk. Come out at the end.
Just come out at the end. Yeah, I can see that too. I can see that too.
Logo.
Wait, yo, hold up. What if Saturday night's main event, Cody Rhodes defends the
even wanna go to
WWE
that
Championship against The Rock?
I don't even want to go to that anymore. The amount of times I saw that shit on SmackDown.
Saw what?
That
Saturday
little
night's main
promo
event?
in the back corner, the little promo sticker.
It's gonna be
bio thing
huge.
every
It's
6
They're
gonna
make
be
it a big deal.
It's gonna be a
every
giant
6
deal.
minutes though. Like
Yes.
settle down.
I mean, it's primetime NBC. Like this is what. Like we
Yes,
still
they
talk
haven't
about the
had prime-
OG Saturday night's main event.
Yes, they haven't been on primetime Saturday night in probably.
But that's what I'm
10
saying.
years.
Like that's a big deal.
I know.
That's a big deal.
All right, so now that we've spent an hour on the bloodline, can we move on?
Yes, I have a
Yeah.
big breaking news scoop, courtesy of Owen, from our
Hold
group
on.
chat.
Oh,
Why are we holding on?
This is what we're holding on for. Go ahead.
yeah, we're holding up the
Oh,
scoop.
thank you.
What is the scoop?
Thank you. All right. Well, Vince McMahon has emerged from his slumber, or from his hibernation.
With a
He
tweet.
tweeted in the wake of this Vince McMahon documentary dropping in 2 days, right on the 25th, I believe. He tweeted out a press release,
Can we get an and I quote?
and I quote,
Thank you.
"I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks with out-of-context footage and dated soundbites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am, in fact, Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story.
Okay, let's cut through the bullshit and the politics and the professionalism of that and call it what it is. Vince doesn't like it.
Wah, I didn't do it. Wah, it wasn't me.
Yep. Exactly what that tweet means. Sorry, Vince. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. We're doing an emergency pod on Wednesday. We
I'm
doing
down.
this.
Oh yeah.
I'm down.
We doing this.
I mean, to be fair, it's not
We've been
all
waiting
dropping
20
on
years
Wednesday.
for this.
I don't
No,
believe it's all
weekly,
dropping
right?
on Wednesday.
No.
Yeah,
So
no, yeah.
But we should do an emergency pod for the first episode.
We're doing reviews on these.
If it's big,
specific reviews.
Okay, cool.
I think
I'm
we
down.
should. I think you got like.
This
Here's the
is-
thing. Any other like wrestling related documentary, you could be like, okay, maybe depending on like what the situation is. This is about Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr.
This is huge.
a
We've been
big fucking deal.
We've been waiting
a long
30
time
years
for this.
for this.
I'm
kind of
free for
documentary.
most Wednesday nights after the documentary
We,
airs.
we,
So
we
There
have
you
been
go.
waiting for this.
Yeah,
this
we've been waiting a long
this
time
is
for
the
this,
one.
so.
The fact that company people don't like it, the fact that Triple H hasn't said anything on it, the fact that Vince is putting this out, there's a lot of reasons to suspect that there's some shit in this documentary. We're here.
1,000%.
We're locked
Yeah.
in.
We're ready.
Let's
locked
go,
in.
Vince. Sucks
Yeah.
to be you.
Yep.
Sorry. Don't feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, one more bloodline point because I forgot, and me and
Bruh.
Tyler kept making fun of this as we were talking about the Roman.
Oh,
Just really quick because he
Okay.
went wham. Roman's a fucking crybaby right now. Let's just call that like
Oh,
it is
yeah.
too. Roman's just crying, and it's really
Yeah.
funny.
and he's
Now
trying
we-
so hard to continue to be his macho self, but it's like just see through the bullshit and listen to how his like the words he's saying, and it's like, wah, I lost everything.
Once we got done like being like how awesome that fucking was, we went. So Roman's just bitching, right?
So Roman's sad, huh?
Roman right now reminds me of like
sad boy.
Roman right now reminds me of a portrayal of Batman, where it's like you're trying to act all like macho and everything, like on the outside, but on the inside you're still. It's just a self pity party in there, just like
he's Battinson.
He's
Battinson
Battinson,
He's
yeah.
Battinson
He's
for
Battinson,
sure. Robert
yeah.
Pattinson's Batman was so sad.
Yeah.
His Bruce Wayne was so just.
Yeah, it was
True.
All right, now we can move on.
All right, so
Now we
let's
can move
let's
on.
just
Punk.
hammer.
Let's talk
Oh,
about Punk.
okay.
Oh, we're getting there now. Okay.
All right.
Big
I was gonna
promo
go
number
the rest.
two.
I was gonna go to the rest of SmackDown, but that
No
works.
one cares about the rest of SmackDown.
CM Punk promo, much more somber and a more serious tone, but I would say this is the best promo he's cut in this entire run in WWE.
Oh yeah,
What say you guys?
great promo.
They've been cooking for months.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've
I
been
made a
cooking for
point in
months.
here. I hope Tim, I hope you read the note. Emil, I hope you read the note. I said Punk promises to make Drew bleed. Parentheses, they're gonna blade.
Oh yeah.
What? I thought that would make you pop. Come on.
They
I
all.
thought-
I
thought you'd
I would
pop for
pop
that.
a lot more if they haven't already bled like 3 times
Yeah,
on TV.
exactly.
Oh,
So,
okay, but now they're
I
like
would-
actually gonna bleed
like,
a
all
lot.
the
I
bleeding,
don't
the
care.
hospital
I don't
spots,
care. Okay.
like,
It already
shit
happened.
like that.
But anyway,
We've already done it.
so-
it was a lot less of the isn't it great to be in X location on a Monday night? Like, thank God. Thank that we don't need that Punk.
I
We don't
think-
like
really
P-
don't.
We don't
So-
like PG Punk.
I like Punk.
PG Punk
I
is
do like
fun.
that Punk. I like that fun
it's
Punk.
kinda
But
fun.
like but that's fine when he doesn't have something to do, right? This is like the story of his like the twilight of his career. This is one of the stories that will define the twilight of his career along with MJF. This was the promo we needed, and this is how he should be every week.
True.
So
Every week,
to your,
but-
no, maybe not every week, but to your point, since you brought up MJF, and again, this is something we briefly talked about on previous pods with this whole storyline. There's a weird parallel to the Punk MJF feud that's not on the same personal level that was obviously because that feud is something else. But that the Punk promo from this past week started to make me feel like this is that Punk again. This is the Punk halfway through that MJF feud where everything started getting way too personal. And like you can kind of feel the frustration and the actual heat within Punk when he's cutting that promo. There's no happiness in his voice. He's just like, listen, bitch, you fucked with me for too long. I have fucked with you for too long. On this day, I am taking you down. There is no fucking good happy ending for either of us. Right? That's just he's just making it clear. To that point, have you guys been updated on the news regarding that match? It is main eventing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So I figured it would because every Hell in a Cell has main evented Bad Blood in its history, and we'll open with Cody and Roman.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Or a semi-main. I'd be cool if it's semi-main event.
Don't hate it, don't love it, confused.
Right, yeah.
But I mean,
anyway.
it makes sense of why it has to. I'm also kind of so Tyler also gave me a great prediction. So credit to Tyler on what I'm about to say. Although he suggested it at, I think, Survivor Series. Seth coming out at the end, pulling a Punk at the watermark.
Oh, I don't know if I actually said that, but I'll take credit for it if I did. Hell yeah.
Either you said it or I saw it on YouTube. I didn't think of that.
Somebody on YouTube was cooking, I think, because I don't think that was me.
That was cooking. That was
at the end of Survivor Series or at the end of Bad Blood?
After this match.
But it's more so the parallel of what Punk did at Survivor Series, Seth would do at Bad Blood.
Right. So we can keep the Seth thing going because that's really what we need.
That'll be hard to do when Drew wins and Punk's left in a bloody heap.
That's the shit we want.
No, not necessarily.
That's the shit we
want.
Not
necessarily. You say that now. No, not necessarily. The idea. Okay, so let me think about this for a second.
He made him eat the bracelet. He's not losing.
There's a good point there.
Yeah, that's actually very fair.
On the idea of Punk winning, and then Seth comes out, it makes the most sense. They could have like a stare down, yada yada yada. Punk's just like, oh god, you again, fuck. Now I have to deal with you too. I was just done with this lunatic. Now on the other side of things, in the event Drew does win that match, and you're saying, oh, but we don't want like Punk in a bloody mess when Seth comes out. What if we do? What if Punk at his lowest point, losing to Drew, in a bloody mess in the middle of the ring, Drew kills him with like 4 claymores off the cell and everything like that, and then they do the ending, Drew celebrating, and as he's leaving, you hit the watermark, Seth walks out, walks into the ring, and just looks down at Punk. Just looks down at him and just starts chuckling to himself.
What is he?
What is that? Is that a... Oh, it's a pan. Oh, I'm cooking.
Do you know what we are doing this episode, gentlemen?
We're cooking,
we are fucking cooking!
Yes.
That was great.
No, seriously, think about that. Like, the idea, the thought of Seth Rollins... Because, like, with Punk, when they did the thing at Survivor Series last year, it was just Punk hanging out in the fucking ramp and, like, hugging fans. Nothing happened there. But now, everything's happened. We've gotten a little more personal with feuds, yada, yada, yada. There's intertwining. If Punk loses this match and he's, like, destroyed by Drew, right? Have Drew leave. Seth comes out. Maybe have Drew and Seth kind of, like, eye each other as they're walking opposite ends of the ramp. And you have Seth go directly to the ring. You don't have him sit out in the crowd or in the ramp. You have him go to the ring and just have him stare at a downed, bloody Punk and just start laughing.
Actually, I kind of think Punk at least needs to stand up before the music hits. That would be my taste. I would kind of prefer that because I low-key just want him to eye roll. As soon as he hears the drum break and he's just like, oh.
Oh, I want Punk to be absolute grimacing as Seth is on the ramp, like,
yeah, maybe that's a shot of like Punk, like they're slowly starting to see Punk get up, like he's grabbing the rope, and they get like a behind the back shot of Punk like facing the ramp, and as Punk's getting up, then Seth's music hits, and he's just like, fuck.
And then he starts just throwing out a slew of curse words, same way Seth did. We do need the parallel. I mean, obviously it's not the same.
No, but
it's not the same because there's varying levels of what Seth knew and how Seth felt a year ago. I think now everything's obviously pretty cool.
Oh, they're all cool. Drew, Seth, and Punk are all boys now.
But I mean, after this year, I would be friends with them too. I would be friends too. If I have to deal with you like this for a whole year, might as well at least make it fun.
Yeah, exactly right.
After they also revitalized all their careers off of this one story.
Meanwhile, Seth's healthy enough to just throw himself over barricades at Bears games. So.
No, he got tossed. To be clear,
right?
Yeah.
He's still healthy enough to take a bump.
The bump.
Yeah, he's still taking bumps.
Yeah,
on turf.
He lost the Royal Rumble at the Bears game.
So, not Seth Rollins.
Pat Mack was in the back of that video.
He was. Yeah.
I
didn't even notice him. I didn't even peep that.
Was in the back of that.
Pat Mack.
Wow, I love that. Seth Rollins not healthy enough to take a bump at work, but Seth Rollins healthy enough to take a bump at a football game.
So that's all that really needs to be said there. We're cool and treats it like it could be his last match. It obviously will not be his last match. He will very much win a Royal Rumble. That's kind of where we're headed.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Tyler.
The Judgment Day actually defended their tag titles.
After 3 months?
3 months.
Yo, I popped really that. When I heard that, I was like,
They won the titles on June 24th. They defended the titles this past week on Raw on September 16th. So just under 3 months.
So the worst part of this is the whole... Again, we're seemingly clusterfucking. We're really not giving a fuck about tag team wrestling enough to have matches end completely and fairly and cleanly. So we're just doing run-ins everywhere, and there's triple threats everywhere. Why did the ref leave the ring?
Yo, that was so fucking stupid. It was so dumb.
Why?
It made no sense.
Why? Nobody in that brawl was legal, by the way. Kofi wasn't there. Nobody was there.
Nobody there was even involved either.
Nobody
at that
was
point.
there. Nobody was there. The entire match was happening normally, fairly, from both the faces and the heels.
It was a cop-out way to show that Xavier could get the win, but it wasn't the move for that one booking decision, which is really dumb.
Terrible move.
However,
it's weekly TV though.
However, we're pushing the story of the New Day breaking up, which is sad. I don't want it, but at this point, like, it would be really dumb if they eventually came back together and had a kumbaya moment, and we're like, "Why are we fighting?" So, like, I guess they're doing it. I'm scared that they will push Xavier for 3 months and then forget about him, because he deserves a lot more than that. But they don't. I feel like they won't see that.
Xavier Woods is the X-Pac of this generation. Prove me wrong. I'll wait.
Elaborate.
Yeah. What are the qualifications for the X-Pac?
What are the qualifications to be the X-Pac of a generation? Not saying that X-Pac is still the X-Pac of this generation.
Damn.
Like the guy in a faction that is like so close to winning titles but just doesn't do it, like just doesn't get the job done, or what?
I mean, like on a solo run, like it's pretty terrible. Like what was X-Pac? The light heavyweight champion, the Euro champion.
He was. I think he was hardcore European mostly. I think he might have been Intercontinental champion once.
However, when he hangs out with DX, he becomes somewhat cool and somewhat relevant and somewhat whatever. But you know, again, he's kind of that lower mid carder that gets boosted because he's in a tag team, and that's kind of just what he is. Anyway, Xavier Woods is the X-Pac of this generation. Very fitting, as they both have X in their name.
X-Pac was the European champion 2 times.
Hey, I said that.
The light heavyweight champion 2 times.
Hey, I said that.
The WCW cruiserweight champion 1 time.
Didn't say that.
4-time tag champions. Once with Marty Jannetty, oddly enough. Once with Bob Holly, and twice with Kane. Yep. And then, yeah, that's basically it. Slammy Award, won a tag tournament at one point. Hall of Fame inductee.
That's kind of... Hall of Fame inductee is a
2-time Hall of Fame inductee. 2 times.
He's a single...
No. As a member of DX and a member as NWO.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Oops.
Yep. Back-to-back, too.
Oops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the only back-to-back?
And
Hall
probably,
of Famer?
Maybe. But he also... Or no. Oh, wait. Yeah, maybe.
He might be the only...
But I will say, he did win the Slammy Award in 1994 for Biggest Heart. Isn't that sweet?
That's cute. Anyway, that's kind of how I feel about. That's kind of how I feel about Xavier Woods.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
cute. It's gonna
Xavier's
fall off.
been like a 20-time tag champion, a King of the Ring winner, and that's it.
Oh, he's never won a singles belt. That's right.
Kofi Kingston is going to do virtually nothing.
He's gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
This is hella been the twilight of his career. We actually thought the twilight was about 5 years ago when he won that belt. So good.
My thing is, Big E getting injured, I think, shortened everybody's career.
What an unfortunate situation
so
for New
sad.
Big E going down, Big E not coming back. Not at this point. It's kind
and
of
also
delayed.
with little E or Big F, however you want to describe it.
And we lost Bigger E.
Yeah, or Bigger E. Sorry, Bigger E or Big F. Both of them. That guy. We're not going to talk about him, but
somebody
messed
in
up.
talent relations did not do their research.
No.
Yeah, well, I think it was a recent thing that broke, if I'm not mistaken. But still,
fucking weird timing and shitty thing.
Too bad Obafemi's North American champion absolutely cutting it up in NXT. Because no, I'm just kidding.
I don't need him there.
Totally kidding.
Very cool on that.
But yeah, so it kind of leaves them at like, what do we do now? Because the story was built around Kofi bringing in a replacement for Big E, and now that replacement cannot be there
without acknowledgement.
Without acknowledgement, yeah.
I just need someone to go. So where did Bigger E go?
Where did Big F go?
Took a
but
big
that's
L,
that's a thing.
Braun and Bronson was absolute chaos.
That was great.
Literally immediately snapped the top rope like within 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's the kind of chaos we need.
They fought a lot.
Can I be serious? Like, what the fuck was the point of this? I didn't really understand this.
Big, meaty men fighting. big meaty men fighting.
But I wasn't even that entertained by this. One, didn't they do this match already?
No.
Like, haven't we been here already?
No.
I feel like I've seen these two just looking at each other for like 2 weeks, like
Correct.
weeks.
So they did the one match where it brawled when I was there live, and it brawled out into the parking lot, and it turned into Bronson tsunamiing Braun on top of that car, and then Bronson got COVID, so he couldn't be in the Fatal 4-Way. So Braun took his spot, and then Bronson came back that week anyway and attacked Braun and cost him that spot. And then this week they were running it back, and it once again ended in chaos. Hear me out. I want this on the pre-show for Bad Blood.
Okay.
Or the Go Home Raw. Like I think it deserves a spotlight. You know, like it could be like the main event or like semi-main event or like a spotlight match on Raw the Go Home week. Or it's on the show and the pre. I can't see it being on the main card because we already have 5 matches for the main card, which is Triple H's golden number. So, especially for a B pay-per-view. Okay. Anyway,
Yusuf, no.
Yusuf, I don't know. If you want to put this on the pre-show, sure, but I feel like if you want to really showcase big meaty men slapping meat and like literally killing each other, which at this point is Bronson Reed threw a fan at someone.
I was about to say I was about to say that after you finished speaking. Literally, the best spot was Bronson throwing a plant at Braun.
Yeah, like fuck, and like you can't forget of all the years that Braun Strowman threw like
a plant
and like
fan.
Braun Strowman, plant fan.
Mitch wasn't there.
Mitch was not there. No, Mitch is retired. Actually,
R.I.P. Mitch.
R.I.P. Mitch.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just quickly finish this. It's like,
I'll let you cook.
You want to? I get they're trying to have more time spent on all of the meaty men meat slapping each other and punching and meat and everything, but there's kind of just too much to showcase, and they're doing it well on Raw, like of just Bronson killing people. But this match feels like it either needs to be in a pre-show or opens up in a PLE, because you don't want to go too long. You kind of need to constantly instill the fact that in a match that involves monster-like characters, they're not wrestling like 15-minute slogs, right? Like 5-10 minutes at most, 10 if you're being courageous, and get it done with. That's the whole idea of these characters. With Bronson, with Braun Strowman, even with Braun Breaker, like, you don't want it to go long. If they have matchups that are like David versus Goliath, yeah, you have those become, like, you give that time. But in situations like this where it's just unstoppable force and immovable object, you could main event Raw with it. You could open a PLE with it. Maybe the pre-show, but the pre-show, it doesn't have the same hit on the pre-show that it would if it was like first or second match on a PLE, because the thing is, you want people to see this. It's something that gets a crowd riled up and hyped up. And even for people watching at home, like anyone that's watching at home with the PLE on the network and whatnot, having that match is kind of a good rest in a way, because it's not the crazy hype where you're going to be popping for the crazy things they do in the ring. You're popping for only the few monster spots they're going to do. So a barricade breaks, fuck it, break the ring again, maybe do that, a superplex off the top and break the ring. Bronson Reed eats Byron Saxton. I don't know. Figure it out, right?
Just full on like Wario in Smash style, just like take a big bite.
Yeah, something like, I don't know. But
they didn't fix the ring after and just carried on.
Yeah. But I guess my point I'm getting to cap this before we move on is just, if you're gonna have the monster match on the PLE, just open the show with it. It'll be a little like awkward with how the PLE, especially with how Bad Blood's shaping up to be. It's weird, like, where do you put that in the card? Because there's so much actual blood feud shit that's going on, whereas this is only a month-long thing. But yeah, throw it on the open fucking Bad Blood with it.
At this point, I kind of want it to be like a scheduled, planned out parking lot brawl. Just like you, me, Bad Blood in the parking lot. Like that, honestly, that's what I would want. But it would suck to be a fan in that arena to be watching the match from their seat, watching the screen. Yeah. No.
I'll be honest, this is wasting my time. All of this is wasting my time.
You were praising this the first week it happened when he was demolishing Seth. This is just continuing that story.
It was great. But we need some substance now. Need a little bit of substance. I want him to keep doing things.
I think that they were trying. I think they probably were planning to do this at Bad Blood, but then they were like, we have bigger matches to do.
That and he got whatever, like COVID. I get it. Whatever. Fine. Fair enough. We had to pivot.
Speaking of pivot, we have a couple of quick segments I just want to touch on real quick before the last little string of stories here. So I just want to shout it out. Literally, there's not much really to say here, but there's not really a lot of substance. But Io Sky and Bianca Belair had a banger of a match on Raw. Banger. Joe Tessitore I watched the highlight of it, and Joe Tessitore was cooking on commentary for this. He was really selling it like a big deal. He was like giving PLE level like dramatic commentary on Raw, and it was great. And it was a match that ended with Io in a roll-up. And it was a great match. It came across like Io stole the win from Bianca. It still made Bianca look strong, but it kept Io looking strong as well. And we're going to get eventually Io and Kairi or Damage Control in some iteration against Bianca and Jade for the tag titles. And this could be the spot where they finally split them up. I don't think it is. I don't know. But I don't know. With Bianca taking the L, it could very well be, but who knows? Any thoughts on that before we move on? It's cool if we don't.
I'll make it quick.
Solid.
Again, just harking back to something we've talked about in previous times with this specific thing with Bianca and Jade. It's a will they, won't they until they do it. We don't fucking know when they're gonna do it, so just do it anyway. Are we gonna care for like 5 minutes? Sure, but like I think everyone's just getting impatient and tired. We're kind of just rip the Band-Aid off and like be done with this. You know.
At this point, it's a match that I would want at Mania, and that's it, because I don't really want it anywhere else between now and then. Yeah. I could have taken it at SummerSlam.
Mania is kind of the only place you could do it. Like, have them split up closer to the end of this year. Have them come into clash at the Rumble, and then Mania. But you gotta split them up before the Rumble. And yeah, I know that's saying a lot because there's September, October, November, like 4 months until the Rumble, right? It's been half a year of this already? Of every week of us going, are they going to split them up or not? Might as well just rip the Band-Aid off now.
Agreed. I'm with you. Now, another promo segment. This week has been a very solid story week. Jey Uso and Braun Breaker both had the best promos of their careers. Braun basically saying, like, I did more in my 6 months on the main roster than you did in your entire career by winning a singles title. Without the name and the backs of my family to carry me to it. And it was great. And then the way Jey responded, much more serious than usual, much more calculated than usual. And the line at the end was a bar where he goes, because at one point Braun said, I'm a dog. That's what dogs do or something like that. And Jey goes, you're a dog, huh? Well, I'm going to take your title and I'm going to dog walk your ass. And I was like, damn, bar. And then they pulled out. They made me forget that Jey Uso's finisher was also a spear because they made Braun go after the slingshot spear where he like bounces off the rope. And Jey met him instead and caught him with a spear. And it was like, oh, shit, I forgot Jey also does a spear. And it was a sick spot. And then later on in the night, Damian Priest is wrestling Dom in the main event. They're still playing off this Terror Twins Judgment Day feud. Damian obviously gets the win. Judgment Day jump in, attack Damian. Rhea and Jey make the save. However, the show goes off the air with Braun getting the last word on Jey to close the show. And next week on Raw, or I should say in about 4 hours, Braun will defend the Intercontinental title against Jey.
He's losing, so good promo. Don't want to get invested.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, great promos. It's fun to see Braun Breaker cut a proper promo because people forget just how good of a talker he is. But again, he is related to Scott Steiner, one of the greatest promos in wrestling history. That's a joke.
No, it's not. We know you're not lying. We know it's not a joke.
He is the greatest of all time. No, he's not. Anyway, but yeah, Braun wins. LOL. Call it a day. Have Jey move on to whatever's next for him, which could be anything at this point.
As long as Jey keeps cutting promos like this instead of the "I'm gonna take your title, yeet, I'm gonna win the belt, yeet. I'm take the title, yeet. Like I'm so good with that. Like every time he tries, it's so awkward. It never works. It doesn't land. Like this is the Jey Uso I want.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself. Every time he does a promo like that, there's at least one stop where he like does one of those pauses, and the crowd doesn't realize, oh, he's waiting for us to say yeet, so it's just really awkward.
Not everybody can be Stone Cold.
I'll never forget the Money in the Bank promo where he's like, I'm gonna win the bet, Money in the Bank, yeet, and I was like, Jesus Christ, come on.
He might actually just be drunk.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I mean, that's fair.
If
Do you feel him, sir?
Exactly. If he's focused on like, if they book him to be like serious and focused on proper title aspirations, then yeah, we can get some really fire promos out of Jey Uso. And again, not to connect this to our 1 hour long segment from earlier in the show. If they're going to connect him back to the bloodline, we're going to need a serious Jey Uso at some point, because I don't want Jey Uso cutting a promo with Roman Reigns while Roman's like, look, Jay, I'm sorry for what I did. And Jay's just out here like, look, cuz, yeet. Like, no, we don't need no yeets right now.
No, we know he'll take it. We know that'll be serious. We know that'll be serious.
Yeah, it should be, right?
But I mean, Jey Uso, if we're gonna attitude era this, is essentially, oh god, fuck. Never mind, we're not gonna attitude era this. The point of Jey Uso is not to win. The whole point of Jey Uso is to keep the crowd engaged, be fun, be entertaining, which he's all of those things. He's a terrible wrestler. He's still a terrible wrestler. Like, my man has nothing in his arsenal besides the spear and these kicks.
I'm sorry, what?
He really doesn't have much.
I'm not saying he's like a top wrestler of this generation, but he's not bad.
I mean, he does what he needs to do, right? He does exactly what he needs to do, nothing more, nothing less.
I would argue I would argue, and I know you're probably thinking about Mania 40 with Jimmy. I would argue that was more Jimmy than Jay.
Oh, Jimmy's worse.
I know, because I have
by
seen
far.
I'm not saying every Roman Jay match was amazing, because I think it was the Tribal Combat one, the last one that they did was pretty bad. But the ones that they the first one in Hell in a Cell that they did. That was fucking sick.
Anybody can have a good match.
Where they had the Wild
weapons.
Samoans, R.I.P., come out and like present the Ulafala for the first time.
Oh, wait,
I
so you don't actually
great.
remember the match, you remember the ending.
No, I was describing that as the way to, as the differential. Like, that's what I remember. I mean, I remember that moment, of course, but I also remember the match was really fucking good.
Jey Uso...
He's not.
I don't want to get into this anymore, because I know we still have a lot to go through with the rest of the week, but Jey Uso as a wrestler, like the whole package, right? Like the whole package of Jey Uso as we know it, has never fully screamed main eventer to me, and that's going to be my hot take of the day. His promos when he's serious, fire, love him, great. His tag work with Jimmy, fire, love it, great, right? As a singles guy, hasn't really sold me on him being a main eventer. Like, he's got the charisma, he's got everything else, but just in ring, like, I don't know. When people say someone's a main eventer, there's like a criteria or like a stereotype almost in most wrestling, especially hardcore wrestling fans in their heads, of what makes a good main eventer besides in like mic work and the charisma they have. Someone who can put on a long, like, storytelling is the big thing, right? Storytelling, being able to tell that story for X amount of time. That first Roman match in the Hell in a Cell, that is a great match looking back at it. There's a lot of like proper storytelling elements, but then you have to think, how much of that is from Jay's side?
That's what I was going to say. And
right?
not, and just because, yeah.
No, sorry, let me just finish this. Because that match, how does that match end? Tyler, do you remember?
It was, I believe it was ref stoppage, if I'm not mistaken.
Jimmy threw in the towel.
Yeah, one of those two finishes.
It wasn't Jay, right? It's not. It's Jay being locked in like that, but it has nothing to do with Jay's character. It's more on the Jimmy side of him having to end that match.
So let me counter you with this then.
Sure.
Would you say that John Cena is a better storyteller? Because
yes.
I honestly do not. From an in-ring standpoint, like in the match, storytelling as an in-ring worker.
100%.
I don't know.
100%. That's not even a conversation.
Okay,
what
I don't know, man.
So
fuck are
I'm
we
not going
talking
to
about?
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to agree with you, but I want to counter.
I don't think. Cena's telling stories, but how deep are the stories? You know what I mean? Like it's the same story every time.
Hold on. So yes, same story every time, but it's how the story is told. Right? It's not so much like, okay, we know how it starts, we know how it ends. What happens in the middle? That's the thing with Cena that I love a lot. And like a lot of it was predictable in the Super Cena era. Sure, we get the idea, right? But then you look at, like, think about all the major feuds that either of those two people have had. You think of all the major feuds Jimmy has had as a singles wrestler. It's been Roman, it's been Jimmy, and now it's Braun Breaker, right? Like, am I forgetting anyone? I don't know if I'm forgetting.
No.
Anyway, look at all the feuds Cena, especially like the high-profile feuds that Cena had. Edge, Randy, Big Show, AJ Styles, The Rock.
All of
Roman.
those people are phenomenal wrestlers. Besides Rock, I will say Rock's a good wrestler, but he's not phenomenal. But I would say that the majority of those people carried Cena through the match from an in-ring standpoint.
Here's the real take. Jay doesn't have any storytelling abilities that have been shown.
I was about to stop you, but you said that have been shown. Fair enough.
Outside of people in the Bloodline storyline, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the connection with anybody else outside of the Bloodline story. And the only one who's outside of his own family that he has that connection with is Sami Zayn.
Yep.
So far, I'd say this demonstrated that he has a connection with Braun as well.
He does, but it's not to the level of we're going to call it good storytelling. It's fine.
I think it's too early to say that.
It is what it is for Jey Uso, right? That's all it is.
I think it's too early to say that.
You're telling me that Cena didn't have great storytelling abilities in ring with Punk, with Edge, with Orton, with Batista. We're not doing that. It was
the same story. It was the same story every time. It was he come back?
Really wasn't. It really wasn't.
Again.
It really wasn't. Cena was the company man versus Punk. He couldn't wrestle, right? Cena and Edge were obsessed with each other. Totally different. Batista and Cena were vying for position. Totally different. Well, who's the other person I said?
Orton.
Vying for position.
Pure hatred.
Yeah, pure hatred.
Pure hatred.
Okay.
Because that's when you saw Cena at pure hatred.
Okay.
That's the other thing too.
Because Baldy Orton was a menace.
I'm not saying Cena's a bad storyteller. I'm just saying I don't think
Cena might be a top 5 storyteller of all time. I don't know what conversation we're having right now.
On the
He's
microphone
right up there with Triple H
in the ring. I don't think he was that. I don't know if he was that spectacular.
In ring too, 100%.
I don't know. Okay.
Because in all the right, and then you have the never give up, blah 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 blah. Right at whatever. But even Cena tells that story, and he tells it better in ring than Jey Uso has in any other story that's not a Bloodline related.
And you know
story.
what? I will say there are some matches where again, maybe that wasn't the best comparison, but I think there are some.
That was a terrible comparison.
But I think that I don't think that Jey Uso is a bad in-ring storyteller in any way.
I think he is bottom tier storyteller.
Okay.
That's not a knock. I love Jey Uso. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
He's not meant for that.
I think he will be a world champion one day, and I think he will be the B. He'll be the B champion. He will not be the WWE champion. He will be the world heavyweight champion one day.
Well, first off, let's not call the world champion a B champion. Like, if we're going to respect the world champion as a world champion, we're at least going to call him 1A. And he's definitely not 1A.
He'll be the 1A champion. There you go.
No, he's a B champion. I'll put him in an IC title.
Okay.
That will be his big win of his career.
Okay.
His big solo win of his career.
That's cool.
Okay.
That's fine.
Big pass on that.
Right.
I heard that. Yusuf, I heard that.
The NXT title. Fuck out of here.
I'm just saying, okay, interesting.
Solo ain't winning, eh?
Speaking of NXT, I will say with the Hikuleo report that we talked about earlier, I could easily see, depending on how well he develops and if he's ready for it, I could easily see Hikuleo taking that North American title off of Obafemi.
So as we kind of move on,
I don't,
because Oba will never lose. Oba is our king
and
our savior.
If they pick somebody,
this entire company.
If they pick somebody,
Oba's saving this entire company. Let's call it like it is.
He is the mountain that you cannot climb.
And yes, we're half joking, we're half serious. We just love Oba over here.
Yeah, Oba is.
BWP is
right.
We are the Oba feminists.
Yeah,
Oba feminists.
The Oba feminists.
Like, the line forms behind us. We got y'all. Come on, come join us.
Come on in.
We're a great time. We
have
great
cookies.
Parties.
Yeah.
We have beer and cookies.
Yeah.
We're here.
Some
of the other stuff that happened on SmackDown includes Apollo Crews and Giovanni Vinci. Vinci is now coming out naked and instead of with a fucking tracksuit.
He learned his lesson from last week. He came out without all the gear on.
I like the learning.
Yep.
Then he fucking lost again.
He still
which
lost.
Is also just funny. And then
Then
he
he
just
beat the
attacked
shit out
him,
of
which
Chris.
is also just funny. All of it's funny.
I'm cool with it until I like this story.
It's like week 2 out here.
Right. Like I want to see where the next story goes with him before I make a call on it. For right now, I'm all along for the ride, and I find it to be hilarious. The clusterfuck that was the women's division on SmackDown. We had a tag match with Naomi and Bayley.
More clusterfuck.
Naomi and Bayley, if they won, whoever got the pin would have got a match with Nia at Bad Blood. If they lost, they would have left SmackDown. If they pinned Tiffany, Nia would have been pissed at Tiffany.
You're saying we get
so
it. So
basically,
it was bullshit.
I was just laughing about the clusterfuck. But anyway, Naomi and Bayley double pinned Nia. So they're like, oh, what do we do? So next week, it's going to be Naomi versus Bayley. Winner faces Nia. How much you want to bet? It's a double finish. Yeah.
That's my reaction.
And then LA,
of course it will be, right?
And then LA Knight opened up SmackDown with a banger
we did the
match.
LA Knight thing, didn't we?
No, we were going to. And then we talked about KO and LA Knight. That was the LA Knight conversation.
Carmelo then instigating, getting himself a run it back.
He said, "Wait." I lost the series. Let's extend it to 7.
He said, "Run it back, run it back."
He did.
Run it back. The score is only 3-2.
They never said that how long the series was going to be.
The score
they
is
just
only
kept
3-2.
They were just keeping score, and so it was tied up 2-2. Andrade won to set up this U.S. title match with LA Knight, and then after he lost the match, Carmelo's like, "You done blew it. You done blew it, sir." And then
we love a good old instigation.
Yeah. So Andrade now wants more fights. So yeah, manipulation into a winning situation for Carmelo.
Good for Carmelo.
So that's that. I think that's everything that we really wanted to talk about for this week. A jam-packed week. A lot of great storytelling.
Did anyone pay attention to AEW this week?
No. No.
The only
y'all are lucky I watched the whole SmackDown episode. I didn't even want to watch that shit.
The only notable thing going on in AEW right now is the setup for Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. McGuinness again came out and was like, "Bryan, you're a coward. You wouldn't have the balls to beat me or even face me." So that's starting to get. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but we're getting McGuinness and Danielson soon. What else was there? Oh yeah, 2 interesting things. Number 1 is Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay entered the Casino Tag Gauntlet match from a couple weeks ago. And this past week, they had a 6-man tag against the Elite. It was Okada and the Bucks, and they pinned the Bucks. So I'm starting to get the weird feeling that Fletcher and Ospreay might take the belts off them. The other interesting thing to note about this is as that match ended, mind you, Kyle Fletcher is still part of the Don Callis family. Will Ospreay is still kind of part of the Don Callis family, but doesn't want to be associated with Don Callis, so that's kind of confusing. After the match, they hogged everything else, and then they threw up the United Empire symbol when they were leading that faction basically in New Japan, which leads me to believe that rather than them winning, we are going to see the rest of United Empire show up in AEW at some point soon, and which will then that way you get Fletcher and Ospreay out of the Don Callis family, and you start setting up a lot. Going in, there's another faction in the company. We can get more faction war stuff like that because we've already got the Elite, Blackpool Combat Club, whatever the hell's going on with the conglomeration or whatever they're called. So there's a lot of faction stuff going on. The last thing is, this isn't like big news, but I think this is just kind of hilarious. Sammy Guevara has opened a challenge for the Continental Championship, so he's going to be facing Okada next week on Dynamite. And if he beats Okada, he's getting a match. And by that, I mean Okada's going to murder this guy. Like, I'm waiting for that high-profile singles Okada defense on a pay-per-view. The only one we've had was Pac, and it was great, but, like, we need more.
It was a foregone conclusion that Okada was going to win.
Yeah.
So, we're still waiting on that.
So in other words, nothing.
Pretty much.
We're just waiting for Shane McMahon to show up.
Yeah, wait, so let's very, very briefly kind of like touch on that. So the concept here is that because of this new Blackpool Combat Club, that they say there's shenanigans going on.
Yes.
It's about to be the GCC, the Greenwich Combat Club.
This is a really risky move for AEW.
Yep.
Really risky to have anything involving a McMahon right now.
Yeah.
Really risky.
I will say.
I hope it's not this Wednesday. I hope
I hope Shane doesn't get involved.
I know Tony Khan
will do it.
I hope
he can't contain himself. He will want to do it. Yeah, that's the problem.
I hope Shane doesn't get involved at all. And I think
terrible idea.
I think that it will overshadow the phenomenal work that Moxley has been doing in this role. I think Moxley has been fucking cooking in this role.
Agree.
Cooking.
And there's a lot of other really interesting. There's also a lot of other things that this really can tank, right? So the whole concept of AEW, especially in this last year, has been trying to cut away the bullshit, right? So the bullshit including CM Punk, ex-WWE guys, people who want to leave, all that, right? They're trying to trim the fat. They're trying to get rid of their bullshit. That's why they're letting Miro go. Totally okay. They're trying to get back to what they want to be, which is the alternative. Bringing in somebody like Shane McMahon is not the alternative. I promise you that's not the alternative. There's no reason for any of that. It's just going to create some kind of weird fake thing where we're going to throw weird, mostly WWE guys who are also indie guys who then are now it's going to get convoluted. It's going to get stupid. And having a McMahon name is a really bad idea in this present moment. I think that's a really bad idea.
Fully agree. I think this would be completely fine if they didn't have Shane come in. However, with all the talk of this isn't your company anymore, it's ours, we're taking it back. Oh my God. Not a fan.
Unless we want to put the Bucks in this conversation, then things get really interesting.
Giant merger or a conglomeration.
Then things get really interesting.
One might say a conglomeration.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. Anyway, bad idea. Let's just we could not and be totally okay. Cause who does this hurt? In the end, this doesn't really hurt Jon Moxley. In the end, this doesn't really hurt Bryan Danielson. This doesn't hurt.
I would say it could hurt Jon Moxley.
Who this hurts for real are the people who don't have that connection to a McMahon name, right? That's who this hurts. This hurts the MJFs. This hurts the Will Ospreys. This hurts the Britt Bakers. This hurts I
would say it hurts Moxley too, though, because it would overshadow the fire that Moxley's been creating.
This in essence hurts the Bucks. This hurts Jack Perry. This hurts anyone in that company who has no ties to a McMahon name. Moxley does.
Yeah.
Right?
Danielson
does.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation.
That's who this hurts.
Now, I don't know if this is all if Shane's actually doing this, I don't think they pulled the trigger on this on Wednesday, although knowing how insanely ridiculous and petty Tony Khan can be, I wouldn't be shocked if they did this on this coming Wednesday when the Vince documentary hits. AEW's 5th anniversary show is October 2nd. So there's
so much yikes.
Mm-hmm. So the problem, it's one of those things, AEW, man, as much as I want to defend Tony and as much as I love the guy, there are so many things that we look at as wrestling fans, not AEW fans, but wrestling fans in general, that will scream red flag when they happen. Like with the Punk thing, when they were like, we're going to release the security. Please don't. Why are you doing this? Right? With this, it's like, oh, God damn it. Like,
after Mania, some fucking idiots.
Mania, what were you doing? And then with this whole thing, it's like, they have 2 different opportunities to fire the cannon at possibly the worst time ever. And one of them is potentially company crippling.
I mean, they're not going to go down. We know that, right? No. AEW's an endless bank account.
That's why I don't want to say they're not. The ship's not going down, but it's going to cripple the ship a little bit.
I mean, the ship's already crippled, right? The whole point of the year.
Yeah, the whole point was they're building back from the crippling.
The whole point from Dynasty onwards has been to come back, and they've actually kind of done that.
Just sucks, bro.
Just don't touch it. Just
leave it alone.
The course.
I mean, stay the course.
You're headed due north.
Yeah, just focus.
You're headed to the promised land. You actually might make it.
This is once again a situation of AEW trying to say we're the alternative, but have no other choice but to rely on the competition and the established name.
Speaking of the competition
and the McMahon name is a hell of a name to pick.
And this is probably the worst time for them to do it because honestly, I was immediately turned off from AEW when they had Hangman lose to Jericho for the title. Yeah. And I'm in the minority. I understand that Jericho is the established name, but he was established because of his work in WWE right before. If they wanted to truly be an alternative, in my opinion, Hangman should have been given more effort, more star power in the build that they absolutely dropped the ball on.
The effort
and
they're
he should have won.
giving, the effort they're giving Hangman Adam Page now was the effort they should have given him at the beginning of this company's run.
Yep.
Because
Obviously,
they're spending
they didn't have
a
that
lot
luxury.
of time on Hangman. And I love that they're spending all this time on Hangman, but where was this on the world title run? Where was this in the beginning of the company?
That's how I know that they're choosing what to invest in and what not to, because they can build some good shit. And I know because I've actually been watching recently. And I bought tickets to Collision, 5th row, baby.
Nice. Speaking of things they're investing in, I forgot about the
for
other thing.
$80, by the way, which is
$100
so stupid. Which is so
Dumb.
stupid.
$100 after fees.
Sucks.
Insane.
Sucks
Speaking
VW.
of things they're investing in that they are totally not copping out on, I forgot there's another match that they've announced, not for next week, but for the 5th anniversary show. They are doing Will Ospreay versus, wait for it, that's right, Ricochet.
Cool.
It's
going to be a lot of flips.
Yeah.
And Ricochet still can't talk.
Flippy dippy shit. Hey,
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they're just gonna have it rely on flippy shit.
Nah, Rico's fine.
Can we make that hot? Can we officially say that yet? Like, he's made the wrong move.
No, he hasn't made the wrong
Of going
move.
to AEW.
He made all the wrong moves.
No, this is the company for him. He doesn't have to talk. It doesn't matter if you can't talk in AEW. You still get put in good matches because you're a good wrestler. He can't talk.
Shit.
He can't
I
talk.
don't care about that shit. You could have put him in good matches in WWE. Oh wait, they kind of did.
They tried, but the problem with WWE is to be good and successful in WWE, you have to be able to talk or have someone talk for you or have a good character. He had none of those things.
Fair enough.
It was never his strong suit. Talking was never his strong suit. And I love Ricochet, and I'm so happy he's where he's at now.
He gave up traveling with his fine-ass wife to go hang out in fucking AEW with 1,000 people in a 17,000 people arena. Make it make sense to
He's
me.
probably making the same, if not. He's probably making the
paid.
same, if not more money than he made in WWE.
I hope he got an increase. That's all I'm saying.
I think
he
part
signed
of
the
it
same
is-
contract. That's dumb as fuck.
I think part of it is lighter schedule on traveling, because I know they're significantly lighter than WWE's travel schedule.
I mean, at this point, WWE's lightened up hella. There's
they
no
have
live
lightened up a
events
lot.
anymore.
This is true.
But also with strong ties to Florida,
fine.
it's likely
Yeah.
he lives in Vegas anyway. But still, AEW
still,
has
it's
strong
not like
ties to
he-
Vegas as well.
Yeah. The other thing too
so does
is,
WWE.
and I know this is a big reason as to
now
why
they do,
a bunch
actually.
of this is a big, I think a part of a big reason of why a lot of talent jumped ship to AEW. It's because of their ties with New Japan and guys that have had history with Japan or guys that have wanted to dabble in New Japan that didn't cut it for their roster. Right, AEW was the way to go. And plus, AEW's got all of New Japan's guys now anyway, right? Not to mention, they'll still do, they have their upcoming I think it's called Wrestle Dynasty is the show they're doing. That's their
Wrestle
Forbidden Door
Dynasty.
the night after Kingdom next year. Yeah, do that. Ricochet now has an excuse, realistically, to go back to the junior heavyweight division in New Japan if he wants to, just do that representing AEW, right? And, from a company standpoint, it kind of makes sense. Because you're representing the company that you work for in a different company. Ricochet wasn't really able to do that in WWE. Now he's able to do that, but he already has experience because he's been in multiple Best of Super Junior tournaments. So,
I mean, I'm never gonna deny somebody to work somewhere where they love, right? I get it.
Yeah.
Like me, that's my opinion as a fan is I hate it, right? That just seems like a bad move to me. But I mean, obviously, do what you want to do. If you don't feel like talking, go to AEW.
yeah, pretty much.
If you don't want to
Acquire
talk,
that
go to
bag.
Yeah, get that bad.
I mean, and you're gonna get guaranteed money, and
Yep.
you'll probably be on TV less,
Right. Less work.
and you don't have to wrestle on speed.
Now, getting out of that before we dive into WWE Speed.
No, nobody wants to do that.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting out of that before we dive further into Speed. Let me cook.
Oh, my bad.
My best in wrestling this week, to wrap up the show a little bit, it's obvious. We can all say it because I think we're all going to say it. And I think it's okay that we all have the same answer this week. Say it with me. It's Cody and Roman in the football
Roman
field.
and Cody.
It has
Dude,
to be, yeah.
I mean, that's the highlight of the fucking week.
Yeah,
It's the
man.
highlight of the month.
Yeah, man. It's highlight
That's
of
the year.
definitely-
It's the highlight of the
month,
post WrestleMania 2024. For
yeah.
me.
It's definitely, I think it's unanimously our best in wrestling this week. However, I want to say my second best in wrestling this week. And that is the Punk shenanigans on NXT.
True.
Punk got to go hang out with one of his adopted daughters.
Yeah, exactly. Who apparently has disowned him now.
Sorry, Pop.
Yeah.
Oof. Punk's going to be a Julia guy now.
Punk is going to be. We are all.
And we love him
should
even
all
more
be Julia guys. Everyone should be a Julia guy.
He is the guest referee.
He is.
He's the guest ref for Trick and
Ethan Page.
Yeah.
Which makes
that's even more dumb.
Yeah, it is dumb. It is dumb.
I kind of wish he was the guest ref for
sense.
Julia Roxanne, but yeah.
That's just him being like, hey, I want to come to NXT, and they're like, oh, I guess
that's just a missed opportunity, is what it is. Because it just tells me that they're gonna close the show with Ethan and Trick. Trick's gonna win, and Punk's gonna be the one to raise his hand at the end. Boom. That's it. Thank you for your service, Ethan Page.
Yeah.
I mean, Punk is ready to spend the next 40 years of his life in NXT, so I get it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I get it.
Get him ready now.
Stupid, but whatever.
Yeah.
But y'all, I think unless we have any final thoughts, I think that was it. I think it was wow, we talked about a lot.
I gotta piss.
Oh.
Well, with that being said, so Emil can go piss. Let's cut it here. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, please support your boys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching right now. And if you're not, go find us on YouTube, Vacant Wrestling on YouTube. What are you doing if you're not already subscribed? If you're listening, you can get us in a video format. You can get short form content. We're going to clip this podcast and put YouTube shorts and videos and all that good stuff. We do some occasional Raw and SmackDown reviews there too. Go follow us on TikTok at Vacant Wrestling there as well. Short form content just like you see on the YouTube shorts, which do incredibly well. So keep it up. Keep the momentum afloat. And as always, y'all, stay classy, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a good week. We'll see y'all very soon.
Bullet Club is fine.
Yeet.